What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the reticle and camera settings in Monster Hunter World. Initially, these settings feel a little bit wonky and simply unreliable. Many people weren't even using the lock-on system because it was just that bad. So we're going to make a couple tweaks here, and we're going to make it feel a lot more like a traditional adventure game, such as Metal Gear Solid or Dark Souls. So let's get into it. We're going to start by going into the options. So you press the options button, you tab over 4 times with R1 into the system settings menu. You're going to press X for options, and then you'll tab over twice with R1 to the camera options menu. I personally prefer my camera speed to be on fast, but if you prefer it to be on normal, that's fine. I felt very fast was just a little too fast. Reticle controls and reticle speed, I preferred where they were. I don't think that aiming with fast on the reticle speed was as efficient because the monsters just don't move as fast as people do in games like Call of Duty. The next option we're going to change is target camera controls. We're moving from type 1 to type 2. Type 2 allows us to orient the camera with one button press instead of targeting a monster with one button press. Next we'll change reticle direction. The next option is Reticle Direction. You have Camera's Direction and Character's Direction. Each of these operates a little bit differently, so we'll talk about them here in a moment because it affects melee characters differently than it does ranged characters. If you're using a bow or an insect glaive, you may prefer Camera's Direction. This is the character's direction. The camera will always face wherever my character is facing whenever I press L2 with the bow. So while running around, running and gunning, you'll notice that if you try to aim at something with your camera, but your character is running in a different direction, it will snap the camera towards where your character is running. However, while targeting an object, that is not affected, and you'll continue to snap to the target by changing another setting, which we'll get into later. This is the camera's direction option. You'll notice that while running in a different direction, my character is snapping to wherever my camera is facing whenever I press L2. This is important for ranged fighters due to running and gunning. Either of these options is personal preference. Melee fighters tend to benefit from character's direction, whereas ranged fighters tend to benefit from camera's direction, mostly because running and gunning is easier as long as you can operate your character and the camera and the reticle system independently. As long as you're targeting something, you'll achieve the same results as long as you have camera reset direction set to character, which we'll cover in just a moment. Back to the camera page. So on the second page, you have camera reset settings. We're going to change this from direction of left stick to direction of character. This allows us to lock onto a target and the camera will snap to that locked on target regardless of our reticle direction, which is what we changed prior. I prefer to have camera distance far, as well as a really important point is camera style being unfocused camera. This allows the camera to focus on a particular object, much like you would have in Dark Souls. Otherwise, the camera won't react. Another valuable setting is the target settings. We can change it from all monsters to large monsters only. This allows us to only target the boss monsters rather than monsters like wyverns during Nergigante, which is always so frustrating. Please note that if you have target settings set to all monsters, then you'll have different targeting modes for locking on. Pressing R3 changes these lock-on modes. If you flick the right analog stick, it allows you to change targets. It's because I selected the pillar in the middle, I'm unable to switch off because there's only one pillar in this stage. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Monster Hunter World videos.